2025 to 5 p.m. Invocation. I said it the last time to somebody else. I said no. Anybody else here? No. What does that mean? Meeting's over. No invocation. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico and is the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Avila,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Secretary, Commissioner Montoya,
Here.
Commissioner Monette,
Here.
and Chair Gonzalez.
Here. Okay, approval of agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second. I have a motion to approve the agenda from Commissioner Monette and a second from Commissioner Aguilar. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Approval of agenda. Number 7, presentation, Escondida Lake sign.
Thank you, Chairman, members of the board. At this time, I would like to go ahead and bring forward Kenny Gonzalez with the welding program, as well as all of the RISE participants and the other welders who made this presentation possible. That what you're going to see before you now is one of those culminations of that dream when we first instituted this program. And you're now seeing the results of what's coming out of this wonderful program, that we've now been able to put something to use that all of Socorro County is going to get to enjoy. And the city of Socorro is going to be able to partake there at the beginning of April for their fishing derby. But we have the brand new sign. So at this time, let me go ahead and hand it over to Mr. Kenny Gonzalez and all of his welding team.
Well, thank you, commissioners, for having her. We appreciate it. And we just wanted to give you guys a little bit more of
Karaoke night.
just want to be able to give you guys an insight on what we're doing with our program and how it comes together with the high school and the RISE program and New Mexico Tech. So, currently I teach for the high school full-time and part-time for New Mexico Tech, which allows the RISE program to be able to come in. But I love to fish. And so I was down at Escondida and I seen the old sign that's up there. I sent a picture to Andy, can I build a new sign? And the greatest part is through tech, when we run our program with a RISE, our students, we have to pay tuition. So that actually defers some of the cost of the metal. So it's basically the county that's paying for the metal. And my kids were able to come up with some designs, some ideas. We were able to cut it out on the plasma table. Now I have them turn it around so you guys can see it because they did some really great work. It's got a catfish and a rainbow trout on it. And that's what's primarily at Elephant Butte. They rainbow torched the trout, so it looks like a rainbow trout. And our RISE program guys are going to be the ones that install it. Right now it's a 10-foot sign. They're going to put 2 feet of it in concrete, and then it'll be able to stand up so everybody in the county can enjoy it. And,
Looks nice.
One thing, these are all my kids here. They all work through us for an innovation grant. And so they actually come after school and they work anywhere from an hour to even 4 hours a day. We don't interact. They leave on Tuesdays and Thursdays. They get an hour because the RISE program comes in. We don't cross paths a whole lot, but it works. And, the kids really enjoy doing things like this. And we wanted to include the RISE program in it. And that's where we're at. And, I'll have my kids go ahead and take it out. And that's kind of what we have to present to you guys today. Do you guys have any questions?
How many of you guys are high school kids? If you raise your hand.
All of these are high school kids. So we've got Josiah Melendres, AJ Gatto, Darius Ortega, Sean Benavides, Axel Barella, Yoni Vargas, and back here with the long hair there is Adam Picardo. And then we've got Alex Baca and
Yeah, it's kind of.
Yeah, why did I forget you, Ben? Wanted to call him Shane. Is that his brother and sister team, and they actually are the ones who like put the fish on there and welded them up in 3D. They did a great job. The other kids have all had parts in this, whether it was painting or just getting it prepared. You know, I've got Andrew Lopez, who's here with me today. He comes and actually volunteers with the RISE program. He's a certified welder, has worked at Arcosa Welding, which is a place where I can get the RISE program jobs. And with his intuition and knowing everything that goes on in Arcosa, he's able to help, and he just comes and does it as a volunteer. So having Andrew, who's one of my former students, graduated 2 years ago, it's really neat to have him. And then we have the RISE program. You know, Ray's already gotten 2 certifications through the program, and he's again helping out with the others to get to there. Plus, he also comes up with some fabrication ideas. So, you know, there's still more stuff that we want to do as a program to keep contributing to the county.
Good.
And then Kaylee Montano, she's actually our first female that actually received a certification. She passed her 4G test, which is 3G is vertical and 4G is overhead. She passed both of those tests, and she's our first female in the RISE program to get a certification. So we're looking forward to when she does get out, that we can get her a job. You know, and we've got Manuel and Herman, who have both already passed 3G. Their 4G is done. It's now cutting their test plates out, bending them to see if they pass. They're welded actually, and the amount of work that they've put into it, I think they're going to pass just from just looking at their blanks. So, you know, it's going to be exciting because all of them are going to have a certification walking out. And we're working with Arcosa, Wind Towers, and Belen. They are ready, willing, and able to hire these guys as long as they stay drug-free and can pass a drug test and go pass a well test, but which we prepare them for. We get them a well test prepared. You know, and I think right now we're working with Andy and Workforce to put together a package for them. So when they are out, we can get them welding helmets, welding gloves, some steel-toed boots, and a welding jacket. So when they do go for their job interviews, they're prepared, because a welding job is not just a verbal interview, it's a weld test. And they have to have their own equipment. So we're hoping to be able to keep working with Andy on Workforce so we can get that done and get these guys, when they're ready to be released, we can open them up to jobs. And again, having Andrew with that in, it's just another great thing. And Arcosa is the one who does their certification, so they're already going to have them on their rolls, you know. And if they can't work there, I work right now with 30 companies where I find my students jobs or the inmates jobs. And so that's all across New Mexico, including Socorro. Any questions?
Good for everybody, I think.
Yeah. So this is, so everybody knows, this is step one, that you see the quality of work here. The next plan of action is going to be there at the Solero building for our emergency management that's up there. We currently have that without signage. And so that'll be the next big step, because it's going to be a much bigger project. We're probably going to need a sign probably 4 times the size of this one. And so that'll be the discussions that Kenny and I are going to have as to how we're going to make that happen. But one of the great things is that I just send them with a concept and an idea, and they come up with it and put it into action. And this is absolutely perfect, because we not only have in front of us the future of Socorro County with the youth, but also the additional future over here with our RISE participants, that we're all working in one direction. And it's absolutely amazing that I would invite any of you that if you have not gone up there on a Tuesday or Thursday night to see them in action, it's absolutely amazing to watch, with all of them working together as a team. And
right.
So,
and when they are working there, we actually have tech students there, you know, and as we started out last year, being the first part of it, or last semester, my tech students kind of kept to themselves. The RISE program kept to themselves. It's actually been interesting this year, because they're all interjecting. And I even have some of my advanced tech students who are becoming weld engineers, who probably might be hiring these guys one day, right? They're coming over and they're helping, and they're starting to interact together. We just had another program from Mexico Tech that came in, and there was about 6 students, and they interviewed all of them and are trying to get their feel for what they want to do in life and what actually got them to there. So maybe we can kind of stop this cycle. So it's not just welding, they're getting a lot of instruction. You know, but we thank you guys for allowing us to do this program.
Thank you very much.
So that bigger sign is to take bigger welding, right?
You should put on a medal, right? My kids can weld anything from broken heart to the crack of dawn, so.
Good job.
Mr. Chairman, just for the record, Commissioner Secretary called and said he sprained his ankle. We couldn't get down, call in if there was no quorum.
Thank you. Okay, item 8, public comment. Just gonna read this part. During this portion of our meeting, we welcome your suggestions and want to hear your concerns. This is not a question and answer period. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. The county commission is not able to take action on matters discussed during public comment. Speakers are requested to state their name for the record. Do we have public comment?
Commissioners, my name is Donna Harris and I live on the Quebradus Road. 23 and 24, Socorro County Commissioners basically told me that I had no reason to expect them to maintain my road, and they were not going to maintain. It has not been materially maintained for the last 5 years. This is not Andy's fault, but he did inherit the problem and now he's stuck with it. Last Friday, Andy told us maybe in 2 or 3 years, they would probably have enough money to maintain the road. So y'all got a raise, everybody in the county employee got a raise, my taxes got raised, and y'all think it's great that I live on a heavily trafficked road and it's not going to be maintained for 5 years, and I should be happy about that? Hogwash. You are costing us that live out there untold thousands of dollars in unnecessary and unreasonable destruction of our equipment. You suppose an ambulance wants to drive out there on that road? Should it be necessary? If I come to town just twice a week, you think, oh, well, that's not so bad. That's only 100 trips. Well, it's not 100 trips. It's 200 trips because I have to go back home at the end of the day. The Chavez Ranch drives it every day. That's 700 trips a year. And you want us to wait 2 or 3 years to get that road fixed? The previous county manager spent 5 years gutting the road department while you guys go sleep at the switch, 3 of you. And all I heard was how much money he was saving you and how it was all so wonderful. Well, I'm sorry that you didn't pay attention to where that money was coming from, because it came from the road department and they've been ignoring the roads. Now you want to put out this state map that shows they're going to maintain a 32-mile section of a road on the Acoma Reservation behind a locked gate, which no one, including the road department, even have access to, but you're going to ignore 27 miles of the Quebradus Road? Again, I say hogwash. Puff up some of that saved money and take care of the county roads, which is what you were elected to do. My suggestion in the next field is that you table your roadmap and redo it. You still have a few days before April 1st. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else?
Vincent Lorenzo del Curto. I'm actually concerned because we were called to a meeting last Friday. We came, and what we were supposed to address, we never did, which was the mapping with the BLM in coordination with the BLM. We go by the roads as the ranchers, what the BLM has. That was not even helped on that on Friday. So that's concerning to me. Our roads are back on the map. But I think that the road needs to be back, maintained, because there is tourism and stuff. So, I mean, this shouldn't be cut. We're taxpayers. And on top of that, I did contact Santa Fe. There's $32 million additional funding. So why are we cutting roads? So I feel this needs to be addressed and, taken care of. I have talked to the county manager many times. He is not cooperative. Has no tact. So I mean, that's something that you guys need to address with him as a constituent. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Commissioner, I'm Martin Greenwood, and I'm here to address the roads in the county. I've been here several times on different roads, but one I'm really concerned about that brought me here was it's County Road 81, used to be County Road 81, it's Forest Road 234. And there's some discrepancy on the map right there. It shows a blue line that goes down 234 and goes up to the Muleshoe headquarters. It's 234A. And I talked to the county manager about it. And it used to go down to the lock gate that goes into the Squaw Peak. And why that a little over, it's between 3 and 4 miles between the Muleshoe headquarters road down to the Squaw Peak gate. And asked him why that wasn't included. He says, well, he can't add on to the map. So I asked him to his mileage on it, and he tells me that it's 11 point something miles, that road. Well, if that's the case, then the blue line should go all the way down to the SO headquarters, to the lock gate. Because from the lock gate out to 107 is only 9.6. And it's only 1 mile from 234, when you go from 234 to 234A up to the lock gate is only 1 mile. So that only registers 10.5 miles. And so it's not showing on the map that you bladed, but on your road mileage is showing. So I would like to see that corrected. It's been bladed for 40 years and I can't see why we're just throwing it out. We got a road over here on I think it's Wilkwell Road or something. It used to be Highway 60. It goes from B.W. Cox's, where B.W. Cox lives, goes all the way out to the antennas to 52, and it's an old Highway 60, but yet it's on our map to maintain. But why maintain a road there that nobody lives on or anything, and leave out a road where there's people that live? I'm just ask the commission to be in favor of doing something. The county manager tells me, well, I can't add roads. Well, what do you mean you can't add roads? You're here to approve a map every year and not go backwards. We're here we've had, this is like the 3rd meeting we've had, and it seems like we've done a little bit of good, but you're still not correcting everything. So, thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good evening, commissioners. My name is Matthew Atencio, field manager for the Squirrel Field Office of the BLM. I have the same kind of comments as Lorenzo and Marty. The last meeting that was held here on Friday was supposed to be a workshop for us to the public that had showed interest to come and look at maps and be productive and give input, like on some of the roads Marty mentioned that are not used or go to nowhere, that could be not maintained and put those miles to somewhere else to better benefit. So yeah, that was kind of a disappointment. We were brought maps and we were ready to I have a little fact sheet here. If I could approach and hand them out.
Sure.
Just for y'all's information.
Thank you.
Something Jeff Fappett put together. I'm not going to take claim for it.
Get it once he's done. That's that way to go ahead. Get another person.
Sure. And I guess the last 2 paragraphs I would like for you all to pay attention to that kind of goes along the same lines as, we've been maintaining these roads, the county has been maintaining a lot of these roads for more than 10 years. So it gets into the legal description, there's case study, case law that goes about, talks about the prescriptive use, and basically roads that have been maintained more than 10 years are basically prescriptive. They're historic roads, need to continue. That's all I have. I just hope we have more time to work together to identify the roads that need to be maintained and the ones that don't, for the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none, we'll move on. Thank you, everyone, for your input. 9, action item, consideration of resolution 2025-29 adopting the 2025 annual certified maintenance mileage report.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I'd like to, I spoke with the county manager regarding the $32 million that Mr. Del Curto mentioned. And I'd like for the county manager, if he would, to explain what that money could be used for, since you did contact that individual.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Commissioner Monette. So in regards to that additional money, for this year's budget, there was 55 million put into the road fund with an additional 35 million. Actually, it's not the 32, 35 to bring it up to $90 million. Now, this is special project funding. So it is tied directly, same way that we get road funding for our school bus routes and everything else. This is project funding. So in order to qualify as a project, it has to be specifically for a road that is going to be chip sealed and or paved. In order to qualify for this funding, it's a multi-step project that the funding doesn't go from the state to the county. It goes from the state to, for us in District 1, the South Central Council of Governments. So we would submit the application through the South Central Council of Governments and then have to seek the approval of the District 1 engineer. This money cannot be used for one-time purchases such as equipment. It cannot be used for any road that may be eligible for federal funding. That what it is in essence, for all of the money that's sent throughout the entire state, rather than sending it by county, they distribute it through the Department of Transportation through their transportation districts. So right now, after speaking with Jerry Valdez at the Department of Transportation, he specifically said they're looking for projects in the neighborhood of $250,000 to $750,000 for that infrastructure that is going to be for the improvement of transportation within the entire region. So in other words, right now, those roads that are currently in question, the Quebradas, the Las Cañas, and Conant, those would be ineligible for this funding. We wouldn't be able to get this funding for those roads at all. And so the other thing that we would be looking at is if we did this type of project, it's the same way when we do our school bus routes and so forth. We're pulling off our staff from the grading of the other county roads to work on those projects. The reason being that that happens is by having the crews work on it, rather than the money going out of the county, we're able to pay our employees directly. In other words, then that money stays in our coffers to where I can then use it the next year for one-time purchases on equipment. So it's a good first step, but it's going to be the long-term solution that this money is going to be eligible for. And it doesn't get us over that initial hump this year of what we're facing with the Department of Transportation audit.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
But correct me if I'm wrong, and I understand trying to keep all the money local, but to help us get caught up, if we were afforded that opportunity to get some of that funding, we could sublet it if we chose to, correct?
That is correct.
Thank you. My second question, Mr. Chairman, is what you're presenting to us tonight what is the map that we worked on during the meeting this last Friday with adding on the 2 miles of Quebradas.
And incorporating some of the other suggestions.
Okay.
Mr.
But
Mullen,
nothing's taken off of what we were proposing. We were just adding some to it. You said we're adding some suggestions.
yeah, so in other words, at that meeting, we talked about getting down to a specific number of roads, that the target was going to be 1,100.
Yes.
And what we've been able to do is, I couldn't get us actually down to the 1,100, but in speaking and crunching some other numbers, we've got down to 1,197. And the way we did it is we incorporated all of those suggestions that came about. And if I may, real quick, I'll point to the map just to show you those changes that have occurred from Friday's meeting to today, to show you what we did.
Please.
Please.
Is the recorder able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
So if you look at this map, you're going to see some pink because this came from the committee. They talked about this section up here that it was locked gates and we couldn't get to. So the reason it's in pink, we've now taken that off the maintained list.
For those who can't see, that's up at Double H's.
The other thing that the committee talked about was what I call the Little Dipper right over here. And so the same thing, there's a locked gate here, and this section here, we've also taken it off the maintained list. The third one that we were able to take off the list is this section right down here south of 380. And so we also subtracted it. By doing those, we were able to get down to the 1197 range, so just shy of 1200. So if everything goes correctly next year, and we're not faced with too many exigent circumstances, that is a number that both myself and the road director feel confident that during the transportation of audit, we can verify and show that we've touched each one of those quote unquote 1,200 miles. Anything above it, we would not pass the audit. And then we're faced with the circumstances of that negative audit finding, and we'd face the consequences such as all of our road department funding being stricken, and we wouldn't be eligible for any grants.
Mr. Chairman, if I may continue.
Sure.
I've got a few remarks I'd like to make to the commission as well as those in the audience. We did have our meeting Friday. It was more of here's what we're going to do type of a meeting. So it really was not a workshop the way we had intended. So I apologize for that. I believe that everybody at the meeting does understand that the road department financially can only do so much. We only have three blades that are operational, and we have 3 young operators that are being trained at this time. So there's only so much we can maintain. I don't think that makes anybody in here very happy, but I think they understand the situation we're in. I thank management and the administration for bringing that to our attention and understanding the problem that we face as a commission trying to do something. I'm fixing to make a motion here in a minute, and it's nothing that makes me happy, but to be stay in regulations with the state, it's something we have to do to move forward. I agree that we have a long way to go. I don't want it to take 2 years to get where we need to be with our county roads. I want to continue working on this. Just because we approved this tonight as far as a maintenance list does not mean the issue's over. It's something I want to continue working on with each and every one of you in here. Honestly feel your pain. I see what it does to your vehicles. I see what it does to the commercial vehicles that have to go out and service your places, people that bring you fuel, people that bring you hay. They're complaining all the time too. So I know we have a huge problem. I know it's something we need to address. I would like to, we're just getting into budget time, and budget time's never a fun time because you're trying to figure everything out. But I hope we take a good hard look at the road department because, as I said, in a previous lifetime, road department really saved the county and a lot of different departments. And I hope we can really look at that budget and start getting the equipment we need, maybe reorganize that department to where we don't have our laborers as operators and operators as laborers. they need to be a separation of duties there. Labor does not need to be paid what an operator brings. I think that's something we need to address. Because we can hire more people to do labor as far as cleaning cattle guards, working on right of ways, cleaning up down trees and things like that. We keep our operators actually out on the blades and getting more done. Through some different research, it's my understanding that a good blade operator can only blade about 300 miles a year, and that's to do a good job on a road. And to do 300, and we only have 3 blades, we're only looking at 900 miles. So, I mean, like Mr. Brown made a statement at the meeting, they don't have to do a whole lot if the roads are so dry. They can just brush the top, things like this that I know Louis is working on and getting these guys trained on doing that. It's just taking us a little bit to get there. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I would like to make a motion. And like I said, I'm not happy about making the motion, but I know as far as the state goes, we need to get this maintenance list to them. But I'd make a motion to approve what is presented with the exception to amend the report to remove Old Highway 60, since nobody lives on that, and add 234, which is 10.5 miles. And I think that should be a wash based on looking at the maps.
And how much of the Quebradas Road?
We added 2 miles to it, and that we spoke with Mrs. Harris, and I'm sorry, I don't know Jake's niece's name, but Jake's family that took over the ranch. And that's the worst part of that road. And they said if they could get to that top of the hill past that cattle guard, that would really help them. And they said they're not happy about that, but that would make them content at this time until we could do more.
Fran Sanchez.
Thank you.
What was 234 down total money?
10.5, I believe.
Huh?
10.5.
10.6, yeah.
10.6, thank you.
I think that's what you requested, right, or wanted?
I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a motion for the approval of Resolution 2025-29, adopting the 2025 annual certified maintenance report with the amendments of
Removing Old Highway 60 and adding Forest Road 234.
and then the Quebradas is in
That is included in what was presented to us, yes, sir.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, resolution 2025-29 passes. Thank you. 9B, consideration of memorandum of understanding between Socorro County and IC Solutions for inmate communication at the detention center.
Yes, thank you, Chairman, members of the board. This is one of those ones that we've been working on for about the past 7 months to get us back into compliance with the communication that needs to occur. So it went out for bid, and then we were able to get all of the requirements met through this one. So I would recommend that we approve this memorandum of understanding.
You heard the county manager. Do I have a motion?
Motion to accept.
Second.
I have a motion to accept from Commissioner Montoya, a second from Commissioner Monette. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. Item 9B passes. Memorandum of understanding between Socorro County and IC Solutions. Item 9C, consideration of coordination plan for Vista de Socorro.
Thank you. In the audience, we have Mary Ann, who, if there are specific questions about this program, can answer more specifically. Rather, what this is this is just the yearly renewal of the commitment of Socorro County into this process that started many, many moons ago. And previously, the board had granted the previous county manager to sign the yearly agreements. So this is just my request to come to you that when these yearly agreements come in and there's no changes to them, that we can just, my signature can authorize those agreements to streamline this process.
This is the place on the hill? Yeah, Marianne?
Awesome.
And
Yeah.
We're also having a ribbon cutting on May 22nd, so you all will be getting invitation. And if any of you want to see the property before, you're
Yeah.
more than welcome to go up there and see it.
You said May 22nd?
Yeah, might be. Did I hear a motion?
So
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Aguilar and a tie for the second from Commissioner Monet and Commissioner Montoya for the approval of consideration and coordination plan for Vista de Socorro. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. 9C. Item 10, executive session, motion and roll call vote to go.
No executive session.
We don't have any? Can we have any? No?
And before you get, Chair, before you get to the last one, regard to the next commission meeting and adjournment, if we could have everybody just stay around for a couple minutes, since we don't have executive session, to go ahead and sign some paperwork from tonight,
Okay,
and then we'll let you out of here.
sounds good. Okay, so no executive session. Item 11, next commission meeting, April 8th, 2025 at 5 p.m. Adjournment. Meeting is adjourned at 5:37. 5:37.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy.
We'll start you.
I know, but